Teaching responsibilities in any capacity, whether grading papers and assisting a professor, directing an ensemble, rehearsing chamber music, teaching individual or group lessons, or classroom teaching, should be taken very seriously. The interactions between students and teachers are a crucial part of the Florida State University experience for both you and your students. Whether you have substantial teaching experience already, or this is your first time as a teacher, you will use the teaching skills you develop at FSU throughout the rest of your career. Graduate students are assigned teaching responsibilities to provide instruction to undergraduate students, yet equally important are the learning opportunities that teaching experiences provide for graduate students. Every graduate student with teaching responsibilities is assigned a faculty supervisor. Your faculty supervisor is responsible for overseeing your work as a teacher, mentoring you, and guiding your learning experience as you develop your teaching skills. Your supervisor serves as a resource for you during the entire time you are teaching under his or her supervision. Your interactions with your faculty supervisor and with other graduate students teaching in the same area are important components of the cycle of teaching and learning in the College of Music. You are teaching students, but at the same time, you are a learner who is developing new skills. The type and frequency of interaction you have with your faculty supervisor may differ depending on your area. Some faculty supervisors meet with graduate student teachers they supervise on a regular basis, such as weekly or every 2 weeks. Others provide an intensive teacher preparation experience prior to the start of the term and may meet only occasionally after that. Others may combine mentoring of graduate student teachers into a course or series of courses focused on pedagogy, or into graduate studio classes. Some will combine these strategies to train and mentor teachers working under their supervision. Plan to attend all training sessions, teacher meetings, appointments, or other scheduled supervisory activities as instructed by your faculty supervisor, and respond promptly to communications from him or her. If you are teaching in any capacity, it is crucial that you adequately prepare to teach a given lesson. For classroom teachers, you will spend more of your weekly assistantship hours preparing to teach than in the classroom. Studio teachers will also need to prepare for each student's lesson and may have time assigned for studio class or other instructional activities beyond the private lessons they instruct. It is important that you are intimately familiar with the material to be taught so that you're able to teach it effectively, as well as address the concerns and questions of your students. You will also need to consider sequencing of materials and stay aligned with the content to be taught in your course within each class or week. You should prepare a lesson plan for each lesson you teach, including private lessons and ensembles. Having a lesson plan ensures that you have considered the organization and sequence of events that will take place, and it is essential to the success of your students. There's no correct way to make a lesson plan. Each teacher is different, but make sure to create it in a way that helps you the most in keeping on track and staying organized. Sometimes, lesson plans will be provided to you by a supervising faculty member or another graduate student. In these cases, it is even more necessary that you thoroughly study the lesson plan and that you are ready to implement it. Remember, if you have spent an adequate amount of time preparing and studying your lesson plan, you likely will not need to reference it during class. Before the first day of class, you should make sure to do the following: print your class rosters, prepare a grade book, although student names may be added later as students may drop an ad. You should ensure that you have all needed teaching materials and make sure to have a lesson plan for the first day of class. Make sure to do the following during the first class. You'll want to first take attendance. Taking verbal attendance may help you learn names quicker. Review the syllabus with your class. This ensures that you have an opportunity to clearly articulate course objectives and policies, as well as reviewing other university requirements. Also, make time to start course-related activities. This will help students see what the course will be like. Remember that the way you approach the class on the first day will set up students' expectations for the way the course will be conducted for the rest of the semester. First impressions matter. Do your best to establish a positive rapport with your students early on, but also make sure to establish boundaries, including specifying what you want them to call you and what methods of communication are appropriate. Your supervising professor can provide guidance on what is appropriate. It is important to maintain a positive and productive learning classroom environment for both you and your students. Some behaviors to watch out for include students talking while you or another student speaks, students with phones or other electronics out in class, students disrespecting each other or you, or any other behavior that detracts from a positive classroom environment. If you observe behavior that needs to be corrected, often a general statement will work, like, "There is a lot of talking today. Please be courteous to those who are speaking." If this does not work, you might choose to make eye contact with the student or students as necessary, or move closer to the students who are talking or being disruptive, if that is possible within the space. Generally, many teachers reserve calling out a student by name as a means of last resort. You may also speak with a student after class to ask him or her to come see you in office hours to discuss the problem. In cases of extreme misbehavior, or if there is a continuing problem, you will want to involve your supervising professor. It's okay to have a friendly rapport with your students, but it's important to maintain a clear student-teacher relationship with each of them. Often, graduate students are only a few years older than undergraduates, and it's very easy to accidentally fall into a difficult situation. Remember, you are first and foremost a teacher. You should dress and behave at all times when interacting with your students in a manner appropriate to the role of teacher. Interactions with students should not cross over into friendship relationships until the teacher-student relationship is completed. This time extends beyond the semester you are teaching an individual student, especially if there's a possibility that you will teach the student again. It's advisable that you refrain from adding students on social media until you are no longer their teacher. At least once during the semester, your supervising faculty member will observe your teaching and provide you with a verbal or written evaluation. Typically, this takes place in the second half of the semester. Your supervising faculty member will also provide a written evaluation at least one time per year that documents your progress as a teacher. This form will be reviewed with you, then is submitted to the College of Music graduate office. Faculty evaluation of your teaching is not a test. Instead, it is a great opportunity for an experienced professional to review your work, relate what they saw, outline what aspects of your lesson went well and what can be improved, and give advice on how to improve your teaching. Your faculty supervisor should give you advance notice of his or her visit to your class or studio lesson. If a private lesson will be observed, please let your student know in advance that the lesson will be observed, and that the faculty member is there primarily to observe you. You may wish to request that your supervising faculty member observe your class if you are having difficulty with the class dynamic or with specific problem students. Since faculty regularly observe classes, having one visit will not seem unusual to your students and may help you gain insight into options for solving the problem. Sometimes, simply having a faculty member sit in on the class will resolve the problem by shifting the class dynamic. You may also request that one or more faculty members other than your supervising faculty member observe your class because they will be writing teaching recommendations for you when you apply for jobs. Sometimes your supervising professor will suggest that. If he or she doesn't, ask if this extra observation will be okay. Faculty who will write letters of recommendation for you can provide a better assessment of your teaching if they have observed you in action. Remember that effective teaching is a skill, and like other skills, it improves with time and practice. Here are some tips to help you throughout your time at FSU. Seek the advice of your supervising faculty member. Take detailed notes on your lesson plan after each class and note what went well or could be improved. Record videos of yourself teaching and critique them, and you may borrow video equipment from the Allen Music Library to do this, or use your area's camera. When possible, observe other teachers in the College of Music, both inside and outside of your primary area. Pay attention to the teaching methods employed in classes or lessons where you are a student, and make notes regarding how experienced teachers handle specific topics or situations. If you wish to observe other teachers, faculty, or other graduate students, ask in advance if it's okay to sit in on one of their classes or lessons. This concludes the video on preparing to teach in the College of Music.